More than 3.5 years after the death of this 2-year-old, her foster parents are now on trial. Joseph and Jennifer Rosenbaum have pled not guilty. CBS 46's Ayana Crystal joins us live in Henry County with more on their first day in court. Ayana.
Sean, in the state's opening statements today, they said that the Rosenbaums are liars, abusers, and murderers, pointing out the abuse that led to the 2-year-old's death. Now, the defense attorney claiming that Jennifer loved Laila and she was trying to save her life. After almost 4 years, the murder trial begins for Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum. They're accused of killing 2-year-old Laila Daniel. The couple had been foster parents to 2 young girls for just over 3 months. On November 17, 2015, Jennifer Rosenbaum called 911 claiming that the 2-year-old was choking on a chicken bone. The defense says that Jennifer did CPR in the Heimlich maneuver, but the autopsy showed that a blunt force trauma to her abdomen ruptured her pancreas. Now, the EMT who was first at the house testified today saying there were no food particles in her throat. Now, the coroner took the stand and said in his career he never saw abuse this bad.
And when you went into the room, what did you see?
There was a decedent child lying on the bed, covered with a sheet.
And what were your initial observations when you saw the child's body?
Initial observations was, wow, there was markings all over the child.
Now, the coroner also testified the lack of emotion from Jennifer at the hospital after Laila was pronounced dead. He also showed pictures of Laila's body that was literally bruised from head to toe. Her head, arms, legs, and even genital area were all bruised. Now, this trial will resume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That's the latest in Henry County. Ayana Crystal, CBS 46 News.
Henry County couple is on trial for murder, accused of abusing their 2-year-old foster child, Laila. At this time, the medical examiner said the little girl had broken bones, injuries to her pancreas, and severe blood loss. Meanwhile, her foster parents claim that she choked on a chicken bone. During day 2 of the testimony, the biological mother of the little girl testified.
Joe Hankey was in the courtroom today. He joins us from McDonough. Joe?
Well, Cheryl, the mother, Tessa Daniel, testified today, as you mentioned. She came emotional at several points during her testimony and could be seen at times reaching for tissues to wipe away tears during her testimony when she was on the witness stand. She said, quote, she thought they were good people when she described Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum, and she thought they had good intentions at first for wanting to take in her daughters as foster children. The Rosenbaums took custody of Laila and her sister in 2015, July of 2015. Laila died 4 months later in November. The Rosenbaums have claimed Laila died after she choked on a piece of chicken, but the medical examiner ruled she died from abuse. In court, Laila's mother said she lost custody of her children in April of 2015 after she failed a drug test, but there were no allegations of physical abuse against Daniel. Daniel said she became concerned when the Rosenbaums began sending fewer photos of Laila than her other daughter, and some of the photos appeared to show Laila, in Daniel's opinion, with injuries and being malnourished. She also recalled a phone call with her oldest daughter.
She was just frantic, and she was hysterical, really, talking about how much she missed her old people, talking about me and my mom, and she was talking about that she just wanted to see us.
And Daniel says after that phone call, she started recording phone calls with her children and the Rosenbaums, because usually her daughter on the phone would be very calm, and that call was a drastic change in her demeanor during phone calls. Prosecutors also showed Daniel photos from July of 2015 when Laila went into foster care with the Rosenbaums, and then November of 2015, shortly before her death. She described those photos and the differences between them during her testimony. I'll have that coming up at 6, but right now we'll send it back to you in studio.
All right, Joe, thank you.
An emotional day inside a Henry County courtroom today. Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum are on trial for murder, accused of beating and killing their 2-year-old foster daughter. Today, jurors heard from the little girl's birth mother. CBS 46's Ayanna Crystal is live in Henry County with what she had to say. Ashley, the state played a phone call between Laila and her birth mother, and that's when it got emotional. Tessa Daniel never thought it'd be the last time she would hear her 2-year-old daughter's voice. She trusted the Rosenbaums with her 2 young daughters.
I felt like maybe if she knew me and reached out to me, that maybe I didn't have the best memory, but I figured that she couldn't mean nothing bad by that. Like, I feel like she had to have good intentions if she reached out to me.
Laila's birth mother, Tessa Daniel, took the stand today. She spoke about her struggle with drugs and how she and Jennifer Rosenbaum at one point both lived at a children's shelter together, and how Jennifer offered to take in her 2 daughters while she got the help she needed. She trusted the Rosenbaums. Now the couple is accused of beating and killing her 2-year-old daughter, Laila Daniel, back in 2015. Tessa knew something was off when she noticed Laila was sick too much, and when the foster family wasn't sending pictures as often. So she started recording her conversations with her daughters.
Yeah, this is your mommy. You know that, right? Right, this is your mommy and I love you.
On this November 16th phone call, she never thought it would be the last time she would speak with her daughter.
That conversation was November the 16th. And when was your visit scheduled with the girls that you're talking about in that conversation?
It was scheduled for the 18th.
That Wednesday visitation, did you ever get to have that visitation?
Oh, man.
Why not?
Because she was dead.
Just heartbreaking testimony from Laila's birth mother. Now, other foster families took the stand today talking about how the girls did not have bruises on them when they were in their care, and they were proving that because the defense attorney was trying to say that the bruises on Laila's body were old. That's the latest in Henry County. Ayanna Crystal, CBS 46 News.
Do you remember the day that Laila died?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about talking about the day that Laila died?
Kinda sad.
Voice of a young child in court today. The murder trial continues for the Henry County foster parents on trial for the alleged abuse and murder of a 2-year-old girl.
Today's key witness was Laila's 7-year-old sister, who would have been about 3 or 4 at the time of the death. And she went through what it was like living with the Rosenbaums and the day that her little sister died.
Joe Hankey has been in the courtroom all this week, has much more from today's testimony. So difficult to hear that young child's voice today, Joe.
Very difficult to be in that courtroom, Cheryl and Jeff. We heard from Millie, that now 7-year-old sister to Laila. We also heard from Millie's new mother, who adopted her this past March. The judge in court did ask us not to record any images of Millie as she was on the witness stand, but he did allow us to record audio of her testimony. Millie's mom says the now 7-year-old once talked with classmates about her sister's death.
She had said that her sister was killed. Her sister had been choked. One point choked on chicken, that I believe she said organs had been split into or cut in half.
The medical examiner in his report had detailed Laila having a transected pancreas, severe blood loss, broken bones, extensive bruising, and inadequate nutrition. Millie in court recalled the night her sister died.
How do you feel about talking about the day that Laila died?
Kinda sad.
And how do you feel talking about living at the Rosenbaum's house?
Same thing.
Millie said on the day Laila died, they were eating dinner. She finished and went upstairs as Jennifer helped Laila as she ate.
And what did you do upstairs?
I watch TV.
And when you were upstairs watching TV, did you hear anything downstairs?
No.
What's the next thing you remember after watching Paw Patrol?
Jennifer told me to come downstairs.
When she told you to come downstairs, did she come up and get you, or did she just use her words?
She used her words.
Did you go downstairs?
Yes.
And when you went downstairs, where was Laila?
I don't remember.
And in court today, Millie could not remember, as you heard there, seeing Laila after she went upstairs once she was done eating dinner on that night in November of 2015. She did recall, though, several instances where she said her and Laila were spanked as punishment, sometimes with a belt on bare skin. She said those punishments could include reasons such as not getting dressed fast enough or falling asleep in the car. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Tonight, a 4-year-old is telling her side of the story of how she was abused after her 2-year-old sister was killed. Their foster parents, Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum, are charged with Laila Daniel's death.
Her older sister talked about the beatings, and CBS 46's Ayanna Crystal has the heart-wrenching details.
It's been really hard to listen to the interview from 2015, where Millie was just 4 years old at the time, talking about the time Jennifer Rosenbaum kicked her in the stomach for not getting dressed fast enough. Now, she also spoke about the times she heard the couple arguing before Laila's death.
While she was upstairs, she said that she heard Jennifer and Joseph, and her words were to kill Laila.
Millie, Laila Daniel's older sister, spoke with detectives after her 2-year-old sister's death. In several interviews show to us today, the 4-year-old spoke about how Jennifer Rosenbaum would drink and would get angry and grab them by their arms and spank them.
She did a lot of bad things to me. She kicked me in the stomach.
She kicked you in your stomach?
In fact, on November 17, 2015, because of Laila's suspicious death, the medical staff examined Millie to see if she was abused.
I counted at least 15 bruises, 2 abrasions on her.
After Laila's death, Millie was placed back in the foster home where she was before they were placed in the Rosenbaum's house. Millie confided in a 12-year-old girl at the home that she trusted.
The first thing she said was, Kaya, Miss Jennifer killed Laila. Miss Jennifer dragged Laila down the steps.
They also showed the interview where police questioned Jennifer Rosenbaum. Jennifer Rosenbaum was charged with Laila Daniel's murder, and one of her friends testified saying Joseph called her to lie about Laila's injuries.
It's right after she had been arrested, and I got a phone call from him, and he said that Jennifer had told him that Laila had been injured at my house during the paint party.
Is that something that had occurred at your house?
No, ma'am.
And what was your response to him?
I told him that didn't happen.
Millie also spoke about the times she would get spankings. Now, here in Georgia, foster parents are not allowed to use physical discipline. The murder trial will resume on Monday. That's the latest in Henry County. Ayanna Crystal, CBS 46 News.